My name is Dave Curry, and I work for Buddy Hucks, who owns EF Hucks and Associates and EF Hucks Consulting in Murrells Inlet. We're an appraisal and consulting firm. I've been in the appraisal industry for about 21 years. I started when I was 17 years old doing research, and then when I turned 18, I got my apprentice permit. In the state of South Carolina, there is one license required to appraise real estate, but there's different levels. You have the apprentice level, which is what you have for 2 years while you work with a certified residential or certified general appraiser. And then you have the license, which allows you to do residential appraisal work. And then you have a certified residential license that allows you to do up to a certain point in commercial and unlimited residential appraisals. And then there's a certified general, which is what I have, which allows you to do unlimited commercial. The certified general license requires that you have 2 years in apprenticeship and probably about 6 months worth of education. A Wall College student should probably focus on any classes that are real estate finance related, but also anything that gives you the problem-solving skills while using Excel. Some examples are business statistics and decision analytics would give you the ability to use Excel to problem solve, and that's a lot of what especially commercial real estate requires. My typical workday at EF Hucks and Associates is pretty neat. I get there at 7 a.m. in the morning and have a quiet office for about 2 hours where I kind of get as much work as I can done in the day, especially the most analytical work before the phones ring and people come in, and I help with reviews, and we work on some of the real estate consulting and real estate investment projects. Typically an appraiser starts with going out and doing inspections. They actually get to go out in the field and measure houses, measure commercial buildings. They get their field data together, and a lot of times they'll come back in the office and work on the computers for the rest of the day as they do the analytical side and the report writing side. Buddy Hucks, when you come in and interview with him, he will actually give you a personality test. And the personality test will test whether you're an eagle, an owl, a peacock, or a dove. An analytical person is typically an owl, and when you're an appraiser, typically you need that analytical. You kind of need a little bit of eagle so you're a little bit quick with your work. You need a little bit of dove so that you can get along with others in your environment. And maybe a little bit of peacock so you're a professional when you go out and you visit people and because you work with people. But primarily an owl, somebody that's slow and methodical, because you're liable for all the work that you do. Probably the most challenging part of being an appraiser is government. Government has gotten very involved in, ever since the Dodd-Frank Act, they have gotten involved in the appraisal industry with more stringent requirements actually for the banks. And because of that, the banks are typically a little confused about what they have to do to meet the requirements of that Dodd-Frank Act. And in doing that, they've cut off communication with appraisers completely. And they've also created systems called appraisal management companies that really become a third-party intermediary. And that third-party intermediary not only charges, but kind of cuts off communication with the banks. That is probably the single thing that made having an apprenticeship the hardest, because with that new government regulation, banks typically will not hire an apprentice appraiser to do their work. So it's very hard. It used to be that an apprentice could focus and do appraisals and sign off as long as a higher qualified appraiser signs off with them. Now they don't even want the apprentice to do the inspection. So that's why it's a great reason to go out and work on your internship now when you don't get paid very well to be in that internship position, to work through that process so that when you come out of school, you're either licensed or close to being licensed. The most rewarding part of my job is probably when I drive down the road and my family asks me, what is that project that's being built right there? Or what's that? Or what's that new building? Or whose land is that? And I can almost always answer their question. I love the transactional data that I get to review daily. both because of appraising the property or using a property as a comparable, or just the fact that we review every commercial transaction in the market. I just love being in the know, kind of knowing what the projects are when they're coming before the news releases it, and I can go, yeah, I knew that. It's just really neat. I enjoy that. That's one of my favorite parts. But actually, the reason that I got into the appraisal business is I love architectural design. And I didn't know that I wanted to go to an architectural school my senior year at high school, and I shadowed an appraiser. And as he did inspections and got to redraw the houses when we got back, and I realized that it wasn't quite architecture, but I got to see so many things. I think I see more houses and more buildings than any architect in the business.